Hey, everybody, it's time for another wonderful edition of the Jersey Tales.
Yeehaw!
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Hey,
Oh,
somebody's got to be excited about this.
Buddy, buddy, maybe
my excitement is
out
just
there.
dripping.
All right, well, everybody, welcome back to our last episode of the year. So it'll be our first upload probably of the new year. So what do we have on tonight's show? Well, we've got Bunts here.
Howdy, howdy.
We got my favorite Lexi this week is here.
Hello.
We've got making their Jersey Tale debut is Yukon.
Let's get rowdy.
Yeah. We got producer Lexi in the booth.
Hey, yo.
And it's me, Red the Ram. Welcome, everybody, to the Jersey Tales. So, I went to a football game this weekend, and it was very great. It was a wonderful time. Outside of the one problem restaurant, but I'll get to that in a minute. But my dad came up, and we decided that we were going to do another game. And as is tradition, me and my dad are still undefeated at a Bengals game. It went a little longer than we thought, and I was about ready to fire Zach Taylor like 3 times in the middle of that game. But hey, we actually came away with a W, so I was super excited. So because Denver came down, and it was a must-win for us if we were going to keep our playoff hopes alive. And so, I guess in the spirit of last week's episode, roses are red, violets are blue. I need Miami to lose, and also you too. You.
Okay.
So you got to lose one more, and I don't think you're going to. 'Cause I don't
No.
think your starters are going to be worse than Kansas City's.
Yeah, I think we all assume that they're gonna sit, right? So the Chiefs, yeah.
I mean, well, I guess the question is going to be though is like the Chiefs' most important players, are they going to sit? So is like the B squad of the reffing team going to show up?
Reffing team. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I expect. I expect Denver to win next week, but I don't know. I think it's really going to depend on how. I mean, the Chiefs have nothing really to gain by beating Denver. I don't think so. I don't think they really care about that perspective.
Yeah, which sucks because that's why I really wanted Pittsburgh to beat them. That
Fair.
was the thing. Because this week I'm a whole mess of like emotions too because we also need the Giants to win, and well, now you know why Lexi's my favorite this week, because the Giants did win miraculously, and that we'll get into that reaction in a minute. Though, of course, then in typical AFC North fashions, I'm sitting here staring at an AFC North team, going, "Come on, just do something. Come on, Browns." Just like, let me poke you with this. You do something other than ruin somebody else's season. Like, could you at least no? Okay. Because there's no reason why the Browns couldn't have beat them, but they just chose not to. Just like the Pittsburgh Steelers chose not to beat Mahomes. Actually, I don't think Mahomes was even playing that game.
And well, it's like, yeah, that's my other thought too about next week is like, well, I don't think they start Mahomes. There's no reason to, and well, and that's I don't know. Mahomes is not obviously, great this year, so I don't know if that matters, but I don't know.
And we'll get into that a little bit here when we get to your topic.
I figure.
Because I have a theory, and I'm hoping this theory plays out. So
Okay.
I'll get to that. But no, like the game was fantastic. Like my dad was super concerned that like the fans weren't going to show up for this, and I guess Mike Brown was angry because like it was blacked out in the area, which means we didn't have a complete sellout, but it was close. I mean, it was close to a full sellout. So I don't know why it was blacked out. And the stadium was just rocking, and it was a fantastic time. Though, for those of you that aren't familiar with where the Bengals Stadium is, the Bengals Stadium is like if this is your left hand and then you hold out your right hand, that's where the Red Stadium is, and there's an area between the two. It's just a walkway, and for games for either team, they just shut down that whole street, and there's just restaurants that are lined it. And every restaurant just does crazy business during game days, except for one, and that's Ruth Chris Steakhouse, which
Okay.
is right there in the middle. And they've got and then you're like, why isn't nobody at Ruth Chris? Because the thing is there's some really nice steak places that are just a couple blocks up the street from the game, and that's usually where like Dad and I go out to eat. And because we were going to stop there because it was a 4:00 game, so we're like, hey, well, we can just grab a late lunch and just hit up Ruth Chris. So we popped in there because we're celebrating too, because somebody's getting a little older in the next week or two, and it's one of those things. So I don't want to get angry hate mail, but it was. We go up to the door, and right there on the door, because the patio is completely empty. They've got all the chairs and everything else locked down. I look inside the restaurant, and there's not a soul sitting down. They are open, but there's not a single person sitting down there and dining. And then right on the door is this big sign that says, you have to wear proper attire to enter this facility. So if you're going to walk in, you have to remove your ball cap, and you can't have a jersey on. It's not proper attire unless you're going to be at the bar or at the patio. And it's like, who is running this restaurant? You are the biggest idiots. Because every other restaurant in the area, and there's a lot of high dollar restaurants. Like, it's not like, oh, well, it's like the bougie one. No, like Jeff Ruby's, which costs about twice as much as this place does, is sold out every day for game day. Like, you got to book your reservations like months in advance to get into that place. It was just nuts. Like, I'm standing there like, we can't even just come in and get like a Ruth Chris burger, like, because that was really what I was after. Instead, we had to go spend our money somewhere else. It's like, who was running this place? It's idiots. Anyway, that's my non-sports, sort of sports-related rant. Because like you've got the spot, like you literally got the chunk that's there between the two stadiums, and that they do that same stuff during baseball season too. And they could be printing money at that place, but they're just not. And it's like, well, who else is going to come down here? Because no one else is going to just be like, well, I'm going to go to the Ruth Chris that's on the banks during a non-game day. Why? The whole reason why those restaurants exist is to support the game day environment. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, on that boardwalk, that little downtown you meant. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a boardwalk. Yeah, I mean, there's two little streets, and it's just restaurants and fun things the whole time through. It's a fantastic game day environment. That was one of the comments that Danny was like saying after going to the Bills game was, oh, we didn't have any of this. We just have a giant parking lot. And like our equivalent of this is you just walk up to some guy grilling chicken and be like, I'm hungry.
I know I think a few stadiums I think New England has that, and like Miami and stuff. A few other places have those kind of.
Miami does not.
They don't? I thought they had. Oh, I don't know. I mean, I haven't been there, so.
Yeah, I've been to the Miami Stadium. It's just a giant parking lot.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind.
Yeah, because the Bengals parking lot is actually sunk down low. Like if you've got stadium parking, and there's all of this walkway stuff over top of it that goes to all these shops and everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like it's a fantastic little sports area. Like if you're into sports at all, going to a game, it's an event. Like it is like you just block out your whole day. You're going to show up 4 hours early, 5 hours early, 6 hours early. You're going to get food down there. You're going to hit the different bars. Like everybody's got like we have usually a couple of places that we like to eat at, but we're not drinking at the places that we eat at. We have a bar that we like to go to that we enjoy drinking at, unless the Steelers are in town, because it's a Steelers bar when the Steelers are in town. But yeah, it's a fun environment. But yes, and afterwards we went out to eat, And instead of going to Ruth Chris because they won't let us in, we had to go someplace else. So it's like, oh, we'll have to do one of the other 3 really good steak options that are in the area. I'm so sorry, Ruth Chris. Like, I hope you enjoy having no tables to clean. I don't know what Lexi's gonna do with that rant, but like that, it really bothered me. That's all I'm saying. It's like because I got there and I was kind of like was really interested in getting one of those burgers and I couldn't, and so instead I got a burger someplace else. Bunch of jerks. We're not gonna get sponsored for them, so it'll be fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you ruined that right there.
That's fine. There are 3 other fantastic steak restaurants that I will gladly accept a sponsorship from in that general vicinity. And those 3 know who they are. So, but moving on. So, aside from the fact that I got to win a heartbreak, because I mean, it came down to like we even had the Zach Taylor special of doinking the field goal, and like I thought for sure y'all were gonna win that one. And then we still somehow pulled off a win because like Chase and T were they were determined to win a game.
Yeah, obviously we got some. Well, for everyone's context, so I'm from Colorado, big Broncos fan and all that, which is why I'm here to talk with Red about this. But yeah, obviously we got some insane luck there with the classic doink field goal, and it was like, oh, it seems like we're ready for some like mile high magic here because we got that luck, and it was like, okay, time for like Bo to seal the deal, and I mean that overtime was just so. It's kind of like because full disclosure, like I didn't see the first part of the game because I was out, so I came in like midway through the second, and I watched highlights and stuff. Looks like the first half really was obviously was a low score, a lot of defense, not a lot of offense, all that kind of stuff, and then of course like fourth quarter was like, especially for non-fans, for you and I, it was probably really sort of nerve-wracking, but it was like cinema, right? It was like back and forth, and then like there at the end, well, Bo, first of all, Bo had a couple of insane touchdown throws in that fourth, right? He had that both to Mims, by the way. Mims had an incredible game, right? But he had that insane throw from like his own 40 or whatever into the back of the end zone. Like it was a good like 65-yard throw to Mims.
Yeah, it was nuts.
And that was like incredible. And then like then after that, like Denver had that forced fumble that was right after that catch. That was like they were trying to determine if it was an incomplete pass or a catch and then fumble. And then of course Bo threw a pick, and then it was like he had the like you guys, the Bengals came back and had their touchdown. Broncos had like a minute and a half, almost 2 minutes, somewhere in there, right? Mm-hmm. And Bo had that magic to tie the game with a great 2-minute drill. Of course, Mims had that other insane touchdown pass or touchdown catch, I guess, from Bo, where Bo was like running away and threw while running backwards from his 40 or so, and Mims catches it in double coverage, just like insane catch, right? So and then we go into overtime, and it was like, okay, there's some magic here. Then it was kind of back and forth there in overtime. Insane luck with that field goal, or the doinked field goal, I mean.
Well,
and
it was insane luck. All right, no,
well,
see, that's what we're referring to as the Zach Taylor special, because Zach cost us a couple of games doing this nonsense of like, oh, we'll just shimmy and play. Oh, we're within field goal range. That's fine. Let's just run it up the middle 3 to like. I was in the stands calling exactly what the plays were going to be, and like, and like there they were. I'm like, great, and now we're going to doink the field goal because, by the way, our good kicker, who has not had a great season, but is still our good kicker, is out with a groin injury. And we're putting the scrub in, and he's just like, "Oh yeah, this is just a go ahead field goal," and it was like
pretty simple well, not chip shot, but yeah, fairly reasonable field goal, right?
Yeah, because like you have the mile high magic, and we have the Zach magic, which isn't a good thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was like well, and that also, of course, like that also fell down to like the defense and overtime, right? Was the Broncos defense, I mean, was not great, right, for them to get down the field and then get ready to kick that field goal. And then they got bailed out essentially with the doing field goal. And, it's kind of like that overtime was like, it really, um, it felt like, oh, we got the doing field goal. It's time for us to like finally seal the deal, right? And Bo Nix had all that great magic in the fourth, like those couple, like I said, a couple of huge touchdown passes, tie the game with a few seconds left, right? And then in OT, he was pretty bad, right? He had a couple of like overthrown wide open passes, and literally there, especially on the last drive or the Broncos last drive, right? Before you guys obviously closed it out, but on the Broncos last drive, literally all I had to do was get a first down, like, and we didn't get a first down. I don't think we got a first down that entire overtime, right? And so that's wild. It's like literally we had to tie the game and it was over, right? And we were in the playoffs and it was done. But they couldn't even get a first down. And then, I don't know, Bo, I don't know what it was. And obviously, like, Bo had a pretty decent game, right? He had like, I think, 3 touchdowns and a pick, right? So, like, pretty decent game. But then there in overtime was what, I don't know if it was pressure, whatever you want to call it, but he was pretty useless, if you will, in overtime.
So do you remember what your defense was ranked going into this game?
Ooh, I couldn't tell you that.
I think they had like the number 1 or number 2.
Yeah, well, and we're
defense.
yeah, and obviously, I mean, well, and we did see that game is that they're still incredible at pass rush, right? They had like 5 sacks or something like that, 6 sacks. And so
every time you sack Joe Burrow, his power grows.
okay. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, obviously their pass rush was great. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because obviously they're way up there in sack numbers and everything like that. So pretty high ranked defense, and I see that every week watching them. Is like, yeah, they're definitely this year is certainly well improved on D, and and all that, and then
not, but but we are. Like, this is the weird thing. Like, last 2 games, our defense has been good. And like, I'm scared to say that because like before that we were like bottom 3 teams.
Yeah.
In defense. I mean, Lexi, producer Lexi will tell you right away when we played against the Commanders, it was just like one of us, I guess, is not going to get a touchdown this time. That's going to decide the game, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah, that number was 7 sacks that the Broncos had. Zach Allen had 3.5. So they were great on that front. I mean, they could have been better in overtime, obviously, to actually stop what happened. But I don't know. I really think, like, obviously it was an amazing game. I think any NFL fan would say that was, like I said, a cinematic fourth and overtime, really. But it just kind of was like Bo / the offense didn't deliver when it mattered.
I mean, we were. I was. Oh well, because everyone was telling me, it's like, well, aren't you worried about Bo? Aren't you worried about Bo? Like, that's all I heard all week. And I was like, well, first off, I'm not worried about Bo because I got Joe.
I mean, well, yeah, and well, we all know, like, Bo was I don't know if he still is or whatever, was kind of a rookie of the year contender, right?
I would say Jaden
potentially. Yeah. No, I know. I mean, he was kind of in the running for it, if you will. I'm not saying he was, because I don't think. I mean, yeah, I think he has had a very great rookie year, but I wouldn't say he's the best or was the best or whatever. So.
I mean, if you didn't have the Commanders having the season that they're having, I would say that yes, they would definitely be in the running. But now, and for me, it's just little Bo Peep, right? Because sheep joke.
Okay.
But
I guess as a Ram, you can make that joke.
I get to make that joke.
Sure.
It's hard. You can't have it. But moving on, we're gonna go ahead and go to and find out why this Lexi is my favorite Lexi for the week. Lexi, what did your team do this week?
Well, let me tell you what they didn't do. They didn't lose the game. The New York Giants won the game.
Yes,
And
he
let me tell
did.
you why that's a bad thing.
So
Let me tell you
beautiful.
why that's a bad thing for me specifically. Because this team was having the worst season in its franchise history. And as soon as they were eliminated from contention, I was like, okay, well, screw it. Let's just lose out. Let's put our worst effort out there. Let's get that number one overall pick. I've never got to see this team get a number one overall pick. I got to see them win 2 Super Bowls, but never a number one overall pick. Anyway, so they lost 10 straight heading into this matchup. The Colts are in the playoff hunt, and I already am skeptical because their starting quarterback is Joe Flacco. Normally, I would be like, yes, Joe Flacco is in, but he has been terrible this season. And even though Anthony Richardson is not that much better, he is a better deep threat. And I think he could have balled out on this defense. Like, that's my hot take of the game. But it wasn't Anthony Richardson. It was Joe Flacco turning the ball over a bunch. This offense finally showing life for the first time, I want to say, like, ever. Like, where the hell was this the last 10 games is my question. Like, all of a sudden, these guys remember that they have jobs they want to keep. Like, if you... And my issue with this is that if you're worried about losing your jobs, why don't you be good at your jobs in the first place? Maybe you could have won early on, so we wouldn't have to be in this situation. But no, we are no longer in contention for the number one overall pick. But you know what? Maybe it's not going to be in vain if it helps the Bengals make the playoffs.
Oh, it's so beautiful. Like, because it was like one of the two things that we needed. Now, I mean, I knew I couldn't rely on the Browns because, I mean, Browns fans will tell you can't rely on the Browns. You know, it's the problem is though is now I have to rely on the Jets, which makes me feel dirty just saying.
Yeah, no one wants to be in that position, I don't think.
I struggled being in that position for this year. Let me freaking tell you.
But maybe there's a magical crystal that Aaron Rodgers will smell, and Aaron Rodgers just won't suck this week. I don't know. We'll see.
A magical crystal he's gonna smell? What?
I don't know.
I thought
Maybe
his-
he's
I thought
been
his
he's been
I thought his magic
crystallized.
of choice was I thought his magic of choice was from ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca is that like snow corn?
It's well, I'm trying to find the
Somebody
most
got my joke.
PG way to say this. Yes, it's like snow corn. Sure, let's go with that.
Now we're gonna say hi to Bunt.
Hi.
Hi,
I don't
Bunt.
even know where to begin with this one. But that game was mixed emotions, and it ended up with me being so pissed off. Like, I like Raheem Morris. He's shown, like, he's shown that he's a good coach. But I don't know what in the world was going through his head last night. Though that time management was awful. The time management was awful. In the most crucial situation, he could have called that timeout. He could have called that timeout, but decided not to. And I was talking to producer Lexi, and she told me it was because they were scared of Jaden Daniel and all that. Don't know what it was. Don't care what it was. But regardless, it was a stupid decision not to call that timeout there. And I don't know. That game was a very crucial game to win because now we have to rely on the Saints. The Saints to beat the Buccaneers. And we gotta, well, I mean, that's not really hard to do because it's the Carolina Panthers, but we gotta beat the Carolina Panthers, and we gotta put our hope in the Saints to beat the Buccaneers. Not only is that scraping nails on a chalkboard for me because I hate the Saints, but that's also asking a lot of the Saints this season to beat the Buccaneers. Like, the Saints have been a catastrophe this year, and we've seen it happen. But that's how this season is going out with the Falcons and their playoff hopes. Just like last year, it comes down to the last game, and we're putting our hopes in the Saints. And I hate that. I really hate that. But overall, I think this loss, it was definitely deserved because it teaches that the coaches can still mess up a game just like the players can. Absolutely can. And it also proves that this, and I don't like blaming it on the NFL rules, but like, I hate the NFL overtime. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. This is the reason why I've started watching college a lot more, because the just the simple overtime rules where the coin toss can win you the game, because we didn't even get a chance to touch the ball in overtime to come back and at least answer. We had to just sit there and watch our playoff hopes deteriorate over a coin toss. Like, come on. Like, that's the most disheartening thing ever for your team.
Now, I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you that I think that the NFL overtime rules suck. Like, the college overtime rules are far better. However, at the same time, you're also a fan of another college team that took us into 8 overtimes and then
Oh,
one
goodness.
more during
Yeah.
the SEC championship game. I just think that, like, there's something about Georgia that just.
What's your point? The point is like, at least the overtime we had a second chance to strike, and
Or an
like,
8.
I get it. Like, at least you have your chances in college football to like keep going until somebody wins it. That's a whole lot more interesting than
But
one stinking chance.
that does heavily benefit, though, the more overstocked team, because eventually the team that's not as deep is going to get gassed, and then the Moneyball team turns up and wins. But
No, I mean, I get it, but like, that's just when every aspect comes in the game. Who wants it more? Like, who is
I mean,
willing to
is
lay
it
down
really?
everything they've got to win this game? No matter how gassed you are, that's literally how football works. It comes down to that when you have to play that many overtimes, is who wants it more. Because it just comes down to 2-point conversions. One play. And even though everybody's already gassed and all that, the other team has to go through it too. So fatigue is on
Yes.
both teams.
Well, no, because, like, if you've just got a second string that's just as good or close to as their first string, and then you're just like, well, we're just going to send out the new fresh guy in and just let him go ahead and take spots while you guys recoup. I mean,
Well, I mean, it's the same thing like with injuries. In sports, you just got to deal with it. You just got to put the next guy in, and like that's just how it works.
but
That's
again,
just every aspect of football.
organizations with more money tend to have slightly better backups than.
Well, then it's
than
a
the
part
other
of the game. I mean, like
Okay.
getting
Just
recruiting.
just remember this when the SEC starts getting outbid for recruits because Moneyball.
I'll absolutely remember, and I'll take full accountability of it too. But I'm saying, as of now, the overtime rule in college is a whole lot better than NFL.
No, I agree. I just think that there is a happy medium somewhere between the two.
Okay, maybe like, I don't know, like four, maybe like 4 overtimes. With the 2-point conversions after, like maybe
No
limit.
tie. Like, yeah, I don't want to tie because, like, I am adamant that you will ruin a sports ball game in America by having ties. So there should be no ties. But then it's like, all right, you both get 2 tries, and then after that point, we're gonna make things easier. So now, you instead of starting in like the 45, you start at the 30.
I mean, like, not trying to get too much off topic, but like everybody wanted that whole overtime with Texas A&M and LSU when they went to how many overtimes, I forgot what it was, but it ended up being 74-72. But you don't know how like gassed the players are for doing overtime like that. I bet you after that game they slept good that night. But anyway, my whole thing is going back on track with the whole Falcons game is we deserved that loss because of the coaching, and the coaches should take full blame on that loss. I mean, no, trust me, there was some things that players could have done. If that field goal was made, cool. If there's a lot of things that the players could have done or executed better, and it could have changed the outcome of the game. But as it stands, and as the mistakes went out, the game was on the coach. I full heartedly believe that, and now we're at where we are now. I'm very upset about it for sure, but you know, playoff chances aren't done, but they're looking slim because we have to rely on the Saints. And Silox, if you're watching this, it pains me to say this, but go Saints. It hurt to say that, but go Saints.
I was just gonna let that dwell out there for a little bit, just so Cy had some time to enjoy that.
I was
So,
gonna say,
Lexi,
he's gonna he's gonna love that.
Lexi, you better not delete that that pause.
I'm in pain now just for saying that. Like, it hurts. It hurts on the inside to say that. But like,
We are clipping,
if
and
if,
that'll
if
be saved forever.
oh god, if the Falcons don't make it, then I will be upset because it was a good run of a season, but I am definitely a whole lot more excited for college this season.
All right, so we're gonna move on to producer Lexi. I think you're doing some playoffing.
Yeah, for the first time since 2020, we will be in the playoffs. And the first time since 1991, we have won 11 games. Every team in the NFL has done it twice since 1999, since 1991. This is our first time doing it.
I mean,
So-
I sympathize with you because for the longest time we had, I think, the longest playoff win drought.
Yes,
Yeah, I do
So we are-
remember that.
we are
I
getting
remember
up
that as
there
well.
now. We're
Yeah.
up there with the Dolphins. We're second to the Dolphins. So,
Of a playoff win.
yep, we have not won a playoff game since 2005.
Where are the Browns on that one?
Recent, because they beat the Steelers.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay, yep, totally forgot. So, man, the Browns have won one more than you. Like that's like immediately like, okay, we're going for this. We have to.
That one hurts.
Yeah, that's definitely a rough statistic to have.
Yeah, it hurts. Well, in 25 years of owning this team, Dan Snyder had not reached 11 wins once. Under Josh Harris, we have reached it in 1 year. You know, this team will probably not win a playoff game. Everyone probably who watched that game thinks this team is good. This team's roster is horrid and horribly constructed by Ronald Regine Rivera. This team is not constructed well. One of the reasons a lot of people think Daniels can win the MVP and has a shot and should be available is that without Jaden Daniels, this would be a 4 to 5 win team minimum. Maybe we be up there with
no.
the
No.
Giants having no. This team is not constructed well. If this was not
no,
Jaden Daniels,
I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you, but I
Yeah.
think your number of wins is inflated without
I
Jaden
think-
Daniels.
oh yeah, we maybe win 5 max.
I think you
We're
win
probably
maybe
up there-
2. I think you
Yeah,
win
no, our
2.
team is not good. This shows Jaden Daniels is going to be probably the superstar, and I mentioned this last night that Jaden Daniels is probably having one of the greatest offensive rookies of all time. Like, Bo
I mean,
Nix could win this in any other year. This is just JD's year.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's having a Lamar season. Like he is changing that organization like Lamar changed the Ravens.
Yeah, as
He-
the Broncos fan with Bo, I would agree with you, Lexi, that yeah, you're you know.
He locked that up when he was the first rookie in years to throw 5 touchdown passes the week before. Like, Bo's doing everything, and then Jaden is just upping him every week.
Yeah. Well, and obviously Bo, the last couple games, Bo's resume, if you will, has kind of fallen off a little bit. So, yeah. He didn't quite keep pace with like, especially like I said, with this overtime loss and all that stuff, you know, and not winning last week against the bloody Chargers.
Oh yeah, like, I forgot about that because I needed that too. So now I just need him to like just to be
Yeah.
like have all of his confidence destroyed, and now he's gonna
And
lose
now-
against like the scrubs and the Chiefs. Oh, that's gonna be glorious.
And
Yeah, I
with
mean,
that
he's-
win last night, we are now the 6th seed in the playoff race. And if we win versus Dallas, we will be playing the Rams in the playoffs instead of our division rival, Philly.
Brad, you still need help for the record.
Yeah, I still need the Jets to win.
Yeah.
Go Dolphins.
Why?
That's
You know
the
what?
the-
Go Jets. Go Jets. I mean, I really like. I truth be told, I really do like the Bengals. They actually became my second team this year. I just love that Joe Burrow, man. I just don't want this win to be in vain. So please, Jets, do your job.
Yeah, I mean, and plus, like, if you're just going off the uniforms, we got the best looking uniforms probably in the league, right?
You also have all the furry fans, apparently, because everyone just
Oh.
shows up in their like tiger onesies or whatever.
Oh, so this was this was a side discussion. So before we go into the MVP discussion, which I think we kind of sort of touched on, the long running thing is I was like, yeah, you could literally just commission a bodysuit, like a furry bodysuit, wear it to the Bengals game. Not a single person is going to stop you and ask you about it. It is going to be fully accepted. It's going to be the best thing ever. Because I was talking to UConn during the game, or on the way there. And I was like, yeah, like it's like obviously the most furry friendly stadium on the planet. And I'm getting like the what? I was like, let me just send you
Yeah,
what
I
I've
got
seen today.
a set of photos from Red, and I'm like, okay, which is funny because like you said, it's for lack of a better term, it's like most furry friendly in the sense that I don't know really of any other fan bases that quite do that.
Yeah. Like there are people walking around with tails. There are people
Yeah.
walking around with full on furry heads. There are people walking around with like hybrid, like fursuit,
Onesie, Kigu kind of things.
tons of Keegans.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Like I just sent you one. Like, but
Yeah.
like there's a lot of all ages, and it's like,
Yeah, it seemed like quite a diverse. It was anybody could be doing any of that. It was quite
Yeah.
funny to look at.
Yeah, because I remember walking through the concourse at one point, and this was not at this game, but it was one on the way back, and like the dude like basically had a full on partial except for the head, and his welding apron, and he looked exactly like a guy who would have a welding apron, but yet it had giant tiger paws, and I was like, dude, I have got to get a picture of this. He's like, oh hell yeah, brother. Like,
I love
no
it.
one's gonna believe this.
I guess I'll give the Bengals that. I mean, I have nothing like personally against the Bengals at all, but it is so it's not like I have to give them anything. But it's just I thought it was pretty funny to see all those photos, and that like yeah, that's a pretty normal thing there. Because like I said, I mean, obviously there's the majority of other teams are animal mascots, but I don't know of any other fan base that's quite like that in terms of I guess dressing directly up as their as their animal.
Oh yeah, like, and I don't know if it's just because we're in Ohio and like there's obviously massive furry population in Ohio, but like
Yeah, so it's actually just all furries going to the game. That's what you're saying?
Yeah,
It's
if
just a
that
bunch
was
of phrase.
the case, this podcast should be doing a lot better. Though there are a lot. It is funny because I will post videos of me at the games to the local Cincinnati thing, and like immediately I'll fire off like just a video from my seat, and then there'll be like 5 other ones that are just posted. I was like, where you bitches at? Huh?
Yeah, let's all be
Be hanging
friends.
out, and we
Let's
should all
yeah,
be hanging out.
hanging out.
Well, no, like I know all of them. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
we
sure.
should all be getting together before the game. And I was like, oh wait, my dad's with me. So no, that's a terrible idea.
Oh, you don't want to? Oh, that would be a great introduction. Come on.
No, that's a terrible idea.
Anyways,
But,
sorry for the side tangent. We can talk about MVPs, but yeah.
yes, MVP. So I think we already kind of touched on it because like my vote's like Jaden Daniels or Lamar. Like that's where my 2 votes are. Even if Burrow is having an MVP season and deserves it if he actually makes it to the Super Bowl, but he won't. But he might, and I'm still gonna be a fan, and I'm fully invested in the fact that he's gonna make it.
I guess from my perspective, I think I'm still on Josh Allen. I mean, it's Josh Allen or Lamar for me. I mean, Lamar, especially last week, there had some just insane escapes to then make just amazing throws. So, I mean, Lamar's last game here, he definitely helped his resume for MVP. That's for sure. But I mean, I don't know. I think I'm still on Josh, but I don't know.
I mean, Josh is having a dynamite season, and like, I don't want to take anything away from Josh. So I'm. This isn't me being like, oh, Josh is fantastic. Like he's up there. Same thing.
Yeah, and obviously they did well. I mean, it's the Jets, but they did obliterate them. So the Bills.
Well, maybe that'll motivate the Jets to like win.
Oh yeah, sure.
Next week, because maybe that'll be your lead in, because then that will change my vote. If the Jets win, I will change my vote to Allen because he's motivated them.
That'll be your reasoning.
Yeah, because it's self-serving and
MVP because he got the Bengals.
And if there's one thing that I know about MVP voters, is they always vote self-serving, so it's okay. I don't know. My favorite, Lexi. What do you think?
I think the MVP award is definitely Lamar Jackson's to lose, and I think he pretty much fits the bill for what the NFL MVP is this year. He has statistically been the best quarterback in the league. He's been very consistent this year. Like very few times has he slipped up. Like say who's behind him, Allen. He's been a bit more inconsistent. Like he had a couple games where he was very inaccurate, through 9 of 30 against the Texans, all that stuff. And he's a very good dynamic all-around player. He's not just a really good thrower, he's really good with his legs too, and he knows how to utilize both of those things when he needs to. And also that he does put the V in MVP because he's probably the most valuable player that the Ravens have. Like without him, the Ravens probably win like 5-6 games. Like yeah, they have Derrick Henry, but Derrick Henry is not going to get you to 10 wins.
I mean, for me, it's like it's the most valuable player. So, wouldn't it be the person that is worth the most that you're paying the least? Because like, isn't that kind of the deal, or do you go off of like the, he's bringing the most
pure stats, talent, and all that without regards to money? I mean,
yeah, I mean,
I see what you're saying.
It's really trying to be like an amalgamation of like 6 different things, and the most important of those 6 different things largely depends on how the season is going, and it's tough for me to pinpoint which of those 6 things that is going on, and I want to say that it's Lamar's consistency throughout the year.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm getting a little bit mixed on my rookie of the year versus MVP, because like rookie of the year I think is Jaden Daniels. I think, and I don't really see anyone else coming close. And so
can I add something real quick?
Sure, you can.
About the rookie of the year. I mean, we can throw this in later, but Brock Bowers and Lad McConkey both contest that a good bit.
Yeah, but they took the Commanders from the
Yeah,
gutter
rookie of the
to relevant.
offensive rookie of the year is a QB award. If there's a good QB, a good QB's winning it.
I get that, but it's also shouldn't be negated. I mean, it may sound like biased me talking about Brock Bowers like this, and trust me, I see Jaden Daniels winning it too. But Brock Bowers is a good contestant because he has broken 3 records as a rookie, and not to mention setting.
But he's the only target on that team.
I mean, isn't that more of a reason? Like, bro, literally came in first year. Isn't that more of a reason for him to win it?
I mean, if we're gonna go with that argument, because like Chase is chasing the cripple Chase is chasing the Triple Crown right now, and if you haven't been following the Bengals, they got more than one number 1 target on wide receivers. So,
And I'm not saying that Jaden Daniels isn't going to win it. Like, I mean, obviously he's going to be a favorite because he's a rookie and
He's-
he's taking his team
Yeah.
to, but I'm just saying that there's also other contestants in this.
I
It's
agree.
not just a clear shot because, I mean, doing that because one of the records he set is Bowers first surpassed Pro Football Hall of Famer Mike. I can't even say that last name. Mike Ditka's 63-year-old mark for most receiving yards in a season by a rookie tight end.
Do we really want to start on records here? Because I can name about like 15 records Jaden has broken.
Yeah, like Jaden's broken a ton. Like I think while I'm not disagreeing with you, Bunt, that those other names shouldn't be in contention. I do think it's Jaden's to lose.
Jaden's breaking records that normal QBs are like non-rookies are not breaking.
Yeah.
Is that really hard for the Commanders though?
I mean, yeah.
It would be hard for most quarterbacks.
Did you see
our
quarterbacks?
Did you see the Commanders last year? Yeah, like did you see the Commanders last year? Just
That's what I'm saying. Is it hard to break for a rookie QB to break a
I'm not talking
Commanders
franchise record.
I'm talking about like NFL records.
He's breaking NFL records.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But I mean, like I said, and this is why I said I don't doubt it if Jaden Daniels wins it, but I'm just saying that there are other contestants.
There are, and then like with MVP, then it becomes between Lamar and Allen, and like Allen is your traditional, and Lamar is just Superman,
his own thing.
Yeah, Lamar's just, I mean, again, I'm a Louisville fan, so like I knew what teams were gonna get with Lamar. Like that dude's crazy, and he is the most fun quarterback to watch in the league. And I mean, I'm even saying that as a Bengals fan, and
yeah, I don't think that's a hot take at all.
Yeah, he is fun to watch when he's healthy. He's great. He's exciting. Like now, I think he won it last year, right?
He did.
Yeah, he did.
So now the vote becomes like, well, do we give it to him this year for 2 in a row, or do we give it to Allen, who's having also a superstar year? I mean, granted, if we would have won games, it would have been a 3-way race because, we would have been in the discussion too. But because Joe's having a just amazing year as well. But I think this year it goes to Allen, but I think Lamar's robbed. That's my opinion on how it goes.
And well, personally, I would say if you're putting up a better season than last year when you won MVP, I don't see why you shouldn't win it again. Like, if MVP is awarding the best all-around player in the NFL, it shouldn't matter if it's one time, 2 times, 3 times in a row. If you're the best all-around player, you absolutely are most deserving of the award, which I believe Lamar is.
Yeah, I mean, I think Lamar deserves it, but I think it's going to go to Allen.
I have to agree.
Yeah, no, I mean, we got a week left for stuff to happen, but
I mean, if you look at their stats, Lamar is literally beating Allen in every single stat. Giving Allen the MVP this year is like giving Joel Embiid the MVP as just a pity MVP. And that's actually the
Yeah.
reason that's actually an argument that people have used, the national media has used, that Lamar has won 2, let Allen get 1.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, I think, well, yeah, well, right, and it's kind of like, yeah, the idea of like voter fatigue with Lamar, and you're right, like there's no doubt from anyone's perspective here, right? There's no doubt that Josh Allen's like an incredible quarterback, right? Um and you're right, it's like that thought of, well, like he should get one because he is incredible and Lamar won it last year. But
Go ahead.
good, no, that's it. Go ahead, Bunt.
I feel like there's also another question asked beyond stats. What has this player done in like that has changed this team this season? I feel like that's another thing to look at beyond stats. That is.
Well, but Lamar hasn't changed his team. Like they're still
No, that's
built
what I'm
around
saying.
Lamar.
That's what I'm saying for Josh Allen. I feel like they'll look at that with Josh Allen.
I
I
mean,
mean, do
but
we
with
think that are we thinking that Buffalo is better than they were last year?
yeah,
I mean, I would think they are, right? So
Yeah.
yeah,
Lamar is still Lamar, and not I don't mean that in a negative way, right?
and are the Ravens better than they were last year? And I think no, they're not.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's tough. It's obviously, I mean, I always
Which is why
always hate.
Yeah,
I hate this. Sorry. I mean, I hate that whole thing with like same thing with not to go off topic, but the same thing with like the Heisman discussion, where I hate all these like individual awards in the sense that like it's a team sport, and so it's like when you say somebody's an MVP because their team's the best, right? That doesn't make that's a terrible argument, right? In my opinion, but I think I agree with you, Red, in the sense that like, yeah, the Ravens are still a great team, obviously, right? They're doing great, but I don't know if I don't know if they're better, or if like Lamar is doing something incredibly better or whatnot. Other than he may just still be the MVP because he just still is, But
I mean,
sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Josh Allen just had like a crazy season. I mean, like like he had that one that one stat in the snow game. What was it? Where he threw a touchdown and ran for a touchdown on the same ball.
Yeah, and had maybe one of the best photos of the season.
Yeah, and like
that counts for the MVP award.
Like it's just like, all right, Lamar, you're gonna get a couple more MVPs, maybe, but like you already got yours. Like if it's become like if it's close between the two, you give it to the guy that hasn't gotten it yet. So I was like, all right, Josh, maybe it's time. Plus, like for once now, the Bills they look to be built properly to win a championship. So, it's that's the other component too. Is they want the MVP to be in the Super Bowl, and I just don't think the Ravens have it this year.
You think the Bills?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I take the Bills too.
I mean, did you see him against Detroit?
I mean, yeah, they were good, but also like they kind of are a little bit weaker on the defensive side of the ball, which
They
considering
slaughtered Detroit. It wasn't they were weaker. They slaughtered Detroit, which was one of the top 3 on that other end of the conference.
Didn't they still let up like 30 or more points? Like I'd have to look this up, but I'm pretty sure it was a high scoring game regardless of how close it was.
I mean, it was still a high scoring game, but the thing is this has been the argument that I've been making, whereas like if I just had a middle of the pack defense on the Bengals, like we'd right now be like probably we probably would have only have lost like 2 games, and I could pick out exactly which 2 it was. So it's I got a feeling like the Bills are the team to beat. Like everyone's all big about like Kansas City, but Kansas City, if you go back and look, half the stuff that they've won, they were close games. It came from some outside interference, if you will. So I
Well,
don't
I
think
mean,
Kansas City is as good as their record shows, as opposed to the Bills, who I think are better than what their record shows, which I think they got the same record or close to it.
I hate to do this because I also don't really like the Chiefs, but like we've been saying the same thing about their team last year, and look what happened. And this is arguably a better team than last year's. And their offense has very much improved since they lost to the Bills. Like this is an entirely different team
Yeah, but their
from
defense
that
is
Bills
worse.
game.
I mean, like we would have beat them if it wasn't for some laundry.
Some laundry.
I mean, there is literally a clip right now floating around on the internet that shows like they would have lost like half the games they won if it wasn't for something stupid.
We all know that, but it's no secret.
I know. I mean,
Every NFL fan knows that.
yeah, and it's the thing. It's the reason why they're called the cheats.
I mean, yeah,
But
well, I won't get into all that, but
it's fine. It's fine. We're gonna move on
Have to.
because like otherwise I'm gonna dwell in the NFL territory, and there's not enough time left to talk about the most wonderful thing in all of football that happened this week: the Pop-Tart Bowl.
But
You know, I didn't get a good chance to watch it this go round. I was busy, but
yeah,
Oh,
I'm
what are you doing? You're breaking my heart.
look,
well,
look,
you were at the game. You were at the Bengals game at the same time.
I was. So I literally could not watch it. So
Yeah,
I was, but I did have it like not TiVo'd, but I had it recorded.
yeah.
I don't want to show my age.
had
TV.
I had that donathon going on. It was a hit. But I still had some time left, so I was up doing that. But I was keeping up, and I was like, "Ooh, wow, what a game!"
So game wise, it was fantastic. But like, you don't watch the Pop-Tart Bowl because of the game.
You watch it because of what happens at the game, like what the
Yeah.
mascot. What did the MVP choose, and who was it?
Right.
You
So
watch
there's
it
that.
to you watch it to see a Pop-Tart strip.
Yes. Which was the thing that happened this year. One of the Pop-Tart mascots came out full in foil and did a full-on striptease.
Full Hercules kind of rip open the chest kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Yeah. And then Strawberry came back, or at least what was left of Strawberry came back. Because if you remember from last year, Strawberry got lowered down, got converted into a cake, and then we all saw the image, right, of the sheet cake with like the one eye remaining, where all the players have like clawed out. So Pop-Tarts looked at that and was like, we're going to commission a Pop-Tart mascot of that.
Pop-Tart
100%.
fursuit.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean,
A pop suit.
Yeah, a pop suit. We'll call it a pop suit. And they commissioned what was left of that sheet cake as the thing, and like he was there, and they had drone flyover footage of him popping up top near the scoreboard, and it looked as gruesome as it did when it was a sheet cake, and it was glorious. And of course, this year they had the 3 Pop-Tarts to choose from, and obviously only one of them got selected. Do you remember which one got selected? Bueller. A Okay, well, it was cinnamon roll.
Okay.
It was cinnamon roll. And this time they ate his eye, so he's kind of. I don't know how his resurrection is going to work out, but they ate his eye this time.
Curious how that tasted. Actually, cinnamon roll does sound like a good flavor.
For a Pop-Tart, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
because like brown sugar cinnamon
It's a
is
classic.
it's a classic, right?
But then you
So-
got cinnamon roll.
Which is something it would be adjacent. So like obviously you can improve it.
Yeah, obviously like similar, but like interesting. Just a kind of a twist from the brown sugar and cinnamon.
All right. Well, hey, you know what? Bump, would you like some homework?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you go get you a box of brown cinnamon sugar, and then get a box of the cinnamon roll.
You know what? I absolutely will. If my small town actually, gets that, because since we're such a small town, we don't really get new stuff that fast.
I mean, it's got to be at the Walmart, right?
The closest Walmart to me is like 30, 40 minutes.
All right. So it's got to be on Amazon, right?
You still got Prime there?
yeah. You got Prime out there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll make this happen. It'll be something we can do, and we
But who
could get.
knows?
Because I already know that you're gonna have a really good taste bud, because you immediately loved the buffalo chicken. Jesus.
I'll never forget the whole box and a half I ate at MFF.
Ooh,
So I don't have
that's,
to-
ooh.
I was like, man, these are good.
Oh, you don't know. Like I brought him to AC, and I had two people that are in this podcast that doubted these, and they said they tasted awful. And I said, well, it's actually my COVID detector, and that's how I know you had COVID. And they denied it.
Oh,
And
there
then,
you go.
And then we resampled it at MFF, and guess who loved it? Same too.
The same too.
Which-
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In fact,
No
one
comment.
of them
No
took a
comment.
box. One
I
of
mean, I
them
haven't
in
had
this
these.
call. One of them in this call took a box home with them.
And the other one recently just posted on Twitter how much they admitted they are wanting
jonesing
the
for
taste
them.
again. Yeah.
Yeah, they're jonesing for them. Yeah, Silox is posting out like, man, I'm gonna get so much flack for this, but I am jonesing for some
Look.
buffalo Cheez-Its.
Look,
I guess
MFF.
I won't have any. I haven't had them before, and I won't have any. And I'll have to have some with you at AC.
AC or AO. That's the two places I'll be next.
I'll be at one of those.
Look, at MFF, it was my cheat weekend. I eat whatever I wanted, because I've been good all year with what I eat, and I ate a box and a half of those things, and I was like, oh God,
While sitting
please,
on the
please,
couch.
please be good to me, and I ended up losing weight.
I'm surprised you didn't. Your stomach didn't implode or something.
Nah, if it's stuff like that, it's like not even spicy. If it's stuff like that, then it doesn't bug my stomach like that.
Yeah,
It's got a little,
I
it's got
didn't.
heat. It doesn't have
Yeah.
spice. Like it's a weird flavor, and it is very addicting.
It is so addicting.
Wow.
I
Well-
like it better than the hot and spicy Tabasco cheeses, and those are pretty good.
So I'm hoping like Cheez-Its is currently listening to this podcast, which they won't be, but like if they are, they're just like we could outdo the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
The Cheez-It Bowl.
Pop Tart Cheez-It edition.
Oh my gosh, could you
Oh,
imagine the
nah.
Cheez-Its Bowl?
Ooh, the Cheez-Its Bowl. The Cheez-Its Bowl. It'd be
I'm
great.
talking about a Cheez-It Pop Tart.
A Cheez-It flavored Pop
Oh
Tart.
no, because now we know, because like you can't combine them. Because at that point, like you're ruining things. You got to have a rivalry.
Yeah, no one wants a Cheez-It Pop Tart for breakfast.
Yeah, I want the Cheez-It Bowl versus the Pop-Tart Bowl.
I really like that idea because my favorite bowl used to be the Outback Bowl, where we had
Oh, the
bloomin'
Outback
onion
Bowl.
versus coconut shrimp. And when they
Yeah.
got rid of that and replaced it with something called the ReliaQuest Bowl, it made me really sad.
The
So we
Outback
really
Bowl
need
was a
something to
good one.
recapture the magic.
No, I'm with you there. That was a great bowl.
They really need to have like a unofficial playoff. For like the first 4 teams that miss the playoffs, right? They meet up. You have 2 teams meeting up in the Pop-Tart Bowl, and you got 2 teams meeting up in the Cheez-It Bowl, and then you have the championship game days. The Pop-Tart Cheez-It Bowl champion.
Oh
Let
gosh,
the national
what-
championship be at the Pop-Tart Bowl.
Well, no, because no, it'd be one versus the other. Because like Cheez-Its versus Pop Tarts, and then where would they go? The Oreo Bowl?
No,
Like,
then
what-
that
Jer-
would just be the champion. That'd
what
just
would-
be the Pop-Tart Bowl. Or
No,
the
no, because
Cheez-It
like
Bowl
if the Pop Tart Bowl, all right, so because assuming that we're gonna keep the Pop Tart Bowl being the because like Pop Tart Bowl was voted like the #1 non-playoff bowl.
Playoff bowl, yeah.
Because it's fun and people have a good time, and so like there's plenty of room for someone else to come up and at least match them. But then like if the Cheez-It Bowl, let's just assume the Cheez-It Bowl comes up and matches them, what would be the championship game between the two of them?
The Snack Bowl.
The Taco Bell Bowl?
A hungover bowl.
But like no,
Please,
like
oh my God.
the snack bowl. Like hear me out, because like they're both pretty good snacks.
They are, but like who's sponsoring the top the top tier? That's why I was saying like the Oreo Bowl, because I was thinking like Nabisco, but
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the same. I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if the same company owns both brands, being Pop-Tart and Cheez-It for that matter. I don't know. There's like three companies that own all food brands. So
let me find out.
this is important research topic right here, guys.
Apparently, Cheez-Its and Pop-Tarts, according to the AI overview, is owned by Kellanova, which is a company that was previously part of Kellogg's.
So the answer is yes.
So that was a terrible thing. So, oh yes, Kellogg's did sell Cheez-Its and Pop-Tarts, the same company.
Oh, there you go.
Well, dang.
So, the M&M Bowl.
Yeah, M&Ms. I was just thinking.
Oh my gosh, we could do this.
I love this idea now. Oh my gosh, it needs to
Isn't
happen.
this a fantastic idea? Right? Like you got all the different flavors of Cheez-Its, because there's a lot. You got all the different flavors of Pop-Tarts, and there's a lot. And then they all go to the M&M Bowl. And like everybody knows the M&Ms. I mean, come on. They've already got mascots for that. Like that just sells itself.
Yep. Man, we're cooking with this idea.
And everybody knows the yellow M&M. I mean, he's obviously playing like lineman somewhere.
Oh, easily.
Oh,
Easily.
sure.
And he's gonna get the fumble one time, and he's gonna act like he won the Super Bowl.
Yep.
He'll have a dance.
Oh man,
Yeah,
that
you
would
gotta
be
let the big boys get their play one time.
All right. So all I'm saying is, Mars, like if you're looking for a corporate executive, just give me a holler. I got some people that I'd like to bring on staff, and we got some ideas for you.
Great marketing opportunity here.
Cross promotional. That's all we're saying. I mean, we've been told the Pop-Tart Bowl for a while, so give a little love back. All right. And then outside of that, I guess, is Georgia going to beat Notre Dame?
As as much as I want to say, stay positive and like history, we've beat the snot out of Notre Dame and have not lost a single time to them. I am absolutely nervous for this game because though
They've been strong.
well, our defense has tightened up a good bit, and that's our saving grace for this. But I do believe that we'll win this game. I'm just a bit like, even though Gunnar Stockton look good versus Texas, and it's not light work going into the championship game and throwing dots on the number 2 team in the nation like that. But then again, we're talking about the playoffs here. Notre Dame is gonna want it a lot, and as much as I dog on Notre Dame, they do look solid this year. So anything can happen. It's anybody's game, but I am positive about it that our defense is going to come up with a chip on their shoulder and stop Notre Dame enough for our offense to hopefully wake up and score some points. And if that's the case, then if that's what we see, if we see the Georgia that I saw against Tennessee or Texas, like in the second half of that game, just go ahead and put that in there. In both of those games that we play Texas, if I see that Georgia, then we'll go pretty far. But if I don't see that Georgia, that's a little sketchy. But I have my faith, but I am a little bit nervous because I know that Notre Dame is going to come in pretty hot. But I got my faith. Go Dogs.
Yeah.
My quick perspective is I think out of the 4 games, I think the Notre Dame Georgia game is in my opinion, the closest one. I mean, we'll see, but just from
Go ahead. Yeah, keep
okay.
going.
I mean that's really all I have to say. I think that's going to be the best of the games. I think the other ones I see a more clear winner. But go on.
No, because my argument with the problem with Notre Dame, which I have covered many a times, and I've probably lost listeners to this, is Notre Dame is constantly overrated for what they are, and they consistently will get to the promised land and then fall flat. The Notre Dame Georgia game is going to be one of those games where it's going to be a runaway win for Georgia, where they're just going to absolutely destroy Notre Dame, or it's going to be a close one that somehow the luck of the Irish pulls out. Like, it's one of the two. Like, I don't see Notre Dame just going to town on Georgia, but I could be wrong. Like this could be, but like those are the only 2 scenarios that I really see playing out. Because of the number of times that I've had to deal with like Notre Dame. Plus, we played Notre Dame close, really close. And
See,
every team that we've played that was really close, that was in the playoffs, where are they at now? Because that was SMU, really close. They're not there anymore.
yeah.
There was Notre Dame. We played them stupidly close. We manhandled Clemson, to be fair. And that's the thing.
Like I said, as a Dogs fan, I'm always optimistic. I like my odds going in this game, and I do see us pulling away with the victory because we always have against Notre Dame. We have not lost a single time to them, and historically, we've just outplayed Notre Dame all times, all times. And I believe that'll continue to be like that. It's just that little nerve-wracking thing inside of me where it's like, oh, it's like now we got a whole new look of a QB. And yeah, he looked good in that game against Texas, but now it's playoff time. That's the only thing. And like, I got my faith in Stockton. I think he'll do good, but it's just that slight thing that's just itching inside of me as a Dogs fan. It's like, you're going to play sloppy the first quarter and second quarter. And then it's going to be like, okay, second half, are we locked in or what? Because that's just how the Dogs play in playoffs and in big games. And it's something that puts your heart at a pace that goes beyond what it should be. But like I said, I got my confidence, and I do believe we'll come out with a win. I have the high percentage, thoughts. But there is that side of me that's like there is still a chance for Notre Dame to beat us.
Yeah. UConn, I hope you had a good time on your first episode.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Hopefully, I provided some insight about the Broncos, but no, thanks for having me on. It was fun to chat with you guys and just talk football. Nothing wrong with that for me.
Well, good.
So yeah, thank you. Thanks everyone for that matter.
You did perfectly fine. It was good. And everyone else, I think you did a wonderful job. And well, hey, guess what, everyone? If you like, comment, and subscribe, maybe we'll keep making more of these. Maybe. Yeah,
Only time will tell.
We'll probably make more of them. Well, I mean, like furries and talking about sports. I mean, like that goes together like ham and pineapple.
Yeah, I was gonna say, not quite peanut butter and jelly, but
Close. All right, we'll see you guys next week. Bye.